Good morning, dear students. Welcome back. So, in the past class, we were discussing management as an art. Okay. So, in that, we have seen lot of skills people had, lot of knowledge people have gained, and they were using that skills and knowledge in a very effective way in their own perception towards the work nature. Now, that was one context which works in the management also. Another thing, it is management as a science also. So, you know very particularly what you mean by science. Science is nothing but based on the theories and experiments, isn't it? So, in the same fashion, here also management as a science also we call. They do some experiments. They use some theories of knowledge, okay, to train the employees to make them more effective and create the efficiency in the work. Okay, so let us see what are those things and let us discuss those things. First one is management as a science. In that we have systematized body of knowledge. What is systematized body of knowledge means? There is a systematic knowledge, okay, which is been acquired or which is been earned, okay. From that knowledge, they will serve the management, they'll serve the organizations, okay. See, let us see, its principles are based on causes and effects relationship. So they have given one example also beautiful, you know very clearly this example also, law of gravity. Okay, what happens when the phenomena of the apple falling from the tree to the ground? Okay, so the great scientist who is called as Albert Einstein, he also saw this particular activity, why it happens like this, why it doesn't fall in other side, okay, why it should fall straight on the ground, isn't it? So that is the causes. If it doesn't fall straight on the ground, what happens, what will be the effects, okay, what are the changes takes place in the particular what is that fall of apple? That is nothing but seeing the activity of relationship between the product and the organizations. Same thing here in the organization also, they will plan up what are the causes and effects takes place when some knowledge is being, what is that, used in the work nature of work with the employees. So such things are there, we keep discussing the things, okay. Next, second point, principles based on experiments. Yes, as we all know, science is based on experimentations, okay. They keep doing experimentation, when after a lot of this thing attempts, they get some results, isn't it? Same things happens. Science is a principle of first developing through the observations. So they observe the things, okay, they bring into the lab or laboratory, and they do the lot of test, okay, through the lot of repetition of test, what they do, we call it as experiments. Under that, some control they are going to do, okay, they'll have the control on that. That means when experiment is success, they'll have a control on that particular axis of observations, okay. So this is the second point, speaks about the principles based on experimentation. So they keep doing experimentation. For example, some new technology comes in the system of organization, they need to do experiments on the employees, isn't it, to produce the products. So certain things keeps happening, okay, we'll see. Next comes universal validity. Yes, it has some validity also universally, okay. They have to accept that the activity changes takes place for that. See, scientific principles have universal validity and applications, isn't it? It has some validity, it has some applications. So for example, you take any invention, it will say it expires after so many days, so it has to be accepted. For example, medicines, isn't it? So when they are produced in the laboratory, they are being used for certain long period of time, and after that period, its validity is going to end. So it is universally valid and it is accepted, and certain things being used in the management theory also. Okay, based on that also, this particular things what we have discussed now, they are putting in the form of characteristics, and let us see. Management has a systematized body of knowledge. Yes, it has its own theory. Okay, management theories are there, management techniques are there, and principles that have developed over a period of time. So how do they have developed over a period of time? Like, they have their own knowledge based on their own subjects. For example, we have economics, we have mathematics, we have sociology, isn't it? Are the three subjects, let us consider. If those three subjects are there, they have their own dictionaries. For example, you take a joint family. Joint family talks in the sociology. It will be different in the particular explanations point of view. Okay, whereas it is different if you speak in the business point of view. So differs. So likewise, if you see, they have their own dictionaries to work. That we call it as theories. They have their own theories of knowledge to implement in the organizations. Okay, and they have their own principles, or there are also set of disciplinary principles will be there. They have to follow in that fashion. Let us see what is that also. Continuation of that it is, but also it has own vocabulary. As I said you now, it has its own vocabulary, it has its own dictionary in terms of concepts like sociology, economics and mathematics. They have their own activities. Okay, so they have given one beautiful example. From this example we can understand how management has a systematized body of knowledge. Okay, they have considered a game which is called as cricket. So three people use their own vocabulary based on the situations. Who are the three peoples? Batsman, bowler and an umpire. Okay, if you consider, or batsman, bowler and a coach. If you consider, three peoples use three particular vocabularies, okay, in their own way for the crickets. So for example, if a person is going to be bowled, okay, from a bowler, then he'll be saying what type of bowling he has to do. Like it should be a Yorker or a the bouncers. Likewise, that is a language they use. That is what the vocabulary they use, and for that explanations will be given by the coach, isn't it? Certain things happens. Those things we call it as systematized body of knowledge. Okay. Second point, which we have seen, that principles based on experiments, isn't it? So the principles of management have evolved over a period of time based on repeated experiments. So that means every single observations in every different levels they are going to do these experiments. That means what? From first process till the last process, they keep doing the experiments. Because of that experiments, they get a different, or they might get a perfect in the productions. Because of that, they might get a perfect in the production. That will have control in their conditions, isn't it? So that is what it says here. Since management deals with a human being and also with the human behavior, that means laborers are the human beings and their behavior. Okay, and the outcomes of these experiments are not capable of being accurate, and it cannot predict also. Okay, so you cannot say it is happens likewise only. That is what experiments speaks. Okay, you cannot expect in the organizations, because people are different in their behaviors. Okay, bringing them into the one particular situation, you lead lot of experiments and lot of attempts to be made. Okay, that is the main reason in management they have brought these principles based on experimentations. Okay, next comes the third point, which we have also seen, that universal validity, isn't it? See, since the principles of management are not as an exact as a principle of science, okay, their applications and use are not universal, because it keeps changing. Why it keeps changing? Because every time you cannot expect same results in the same product in the different productions, okay, different product of productions. So they have to be modified according to the situations. For example, standardized techniques have come, okay, they have to what they have to change themselves to the techniques. Who has to change themselves? Employees have to change themselves to the techniques, and for that management people has to train them, okay. To give the training they have to go with the trainers. So that is what they are discussing here, that can be used in different situations. Like principles are also used for the training and development. As I said, you know, managers, okay, they give the trainings for the employees, or organization heads, they are giving the training for the managers, okay, based on the situation factors, how you should react, okay. So that is universal acceptability, it has to be accepted, everywhere happens. So that is what happens. But in science sometimes we have to agree the things universally what happens, based on the validity will be there, some applications will be there, they can do that, but it will not be always correct in the management. Sometimes it will be correct but not all the time, okay. So that is what it means. Next comes management as a profession. Considering management as a profession, every organization look for any individual with specific qualification, isn't it? For example, if you are MBA graduate and if you are going for the job, so what the company will look in you, you are professionally, you are an MBA candidate, isn't it? And now in that MBA course, what the knowledge you have earned and how you have earned that knowledge, that is what it calls as profession. So management has a profession, okay. So let us see, every organization look for any individuals with a specific qualifications, okay. So that specific qualification should be there, then only he'll be called as professional person. So based on that you have certain characteristics. Let us see the characteristics. Number one, which is well defined body of knowledge. A person who has acquired the knowledge of management theory and the what you say, the practices, techniques, it should be a well defined. How? See, all professionals are based on well defined body of knowledge that can be acquired through any of the institutions, or this is institutions, I have written some through instructions or institutions, okay. So how do they get the this well defined body of knowledge? For example, maybe they might have read some, what you say, in the journals they might have read, or they might have undergone certain courses, okay, MBA course or BBA course, like this, okay. Now restricted entry they have given, which is second point. So first point was that well defined body of knowledge they have to earn, okay, if they want to be a profession, okay. That can be earned in any of the colleges, any of the institutions, or from any of the journals, etc., okay. Third one, restricted entry. So there is an restriction is there for entry. For example, to enter a profession, okay, to enter a profession like CA, chartered accountant, or company secretary, or to become an MBA graduate, okay. So there are certain restrictions are there. What are certain restrictions? Restrictions are nothing but they have to undergo some entrance examinations, they have to pass the entrance examinations, then they will be given the entry for that particular course. That is called restricted entry, okay. So they have given here example, to become a CA he has to pass from the ICAI board of India, which is called as Institute of Chartered Accountant of Board. If you pass this exam from this particular board, then only you will be a CA certified candidate. Same thing, you have to take an entrance exam, you have to pass, you have to get into the MBA. When that particular university gives you or conducts you some examinations and you get qualified, then only you will be having that particular professional qualification. That is called restricted entry. Until and unless you are not supposed to enter any of the management till you get that professional course. Next point you have here, let us see. Yes, 23rd. Yes, professional associations. Yes, what is this professional association? This is the third one we speak. So all associations, like if you take professionals, if you take lawyers, if you take doctors, if you take engineers, and if you take any of the professionals, okay, CA, chartered accountant, whatever you take, okay. So all professions are affiliated, which means attached to a professional associations which regulates entry, okay, which regulates entry, grants the certificates of practice, and formulates and enforces the code of conduct. That means what the first particular point speaks here. All professions, you take a lawyer, okay. So if he has become a lawyer, he has to get affiliated through the associations, okay. So that means what, that bar council will regulate certain rules, certain activities to become an lawyer, isn't it? And it will grant the certificate based on the what the course he has undergone. From that he'll get, what is that, enforced to that code of conduct, that rules and regulations he has to follow. If that is the case, then definitely all professions becomes very purified, isn't it? So he becomes a perfect in his profession. Like they have given one example, like Indian lawyer have to become a member of bar council, okay. So there is a bar council which has certain rules and regulations. From that rules and regulations, if he gets cleared his examinations and his certification, if he gets, and from the bar council unit, then he will be completely having the, what is that, activity of doing the lawyer professions, and which will regulates and controls their activities. Whose activities? Lawyers activities also it will be controlled if this person is enrolled to this professional association. And it is also most important, every professional has to enroll himself to this professional association, so that they will have a hold on them, and also they will get a lot of opportunity. If anything goes wrong for any of the lawyer, through any of the citizen, or through any of the other activity, or like other terrorism, terrorist or somebody else, then he will be protected by the professional associations, okay. So many things are there, so professional association is most essential, okay. Next comes ethical code of conduct. Yes, we have here ethical code of conduct. So all professions are bound to some code of conduct, which is rules and regulations, isn't it? So based on that, their behaviors will be developed, so that they cannot show the, since a person is a lawyer, he cannot work as and how he requires to work. There are certain rules, there are certain regulations he has to follow. Based on that, he has to go on, okay. So certain things it is being told in the ethical code of conduct. They have given example also, all doctors take oath of ethical practice at the time of entering their professions. So they'll be very loyal, they'll be very legal, okay, according to the, what is that, preamble of the particular bar council. They are going to do their service. It becomes a motto for the society, understood. Certain things it is called as ethical code of conduct. Next, continuation of that, we have service motive. Yes, fifth point is service motive. What is the service motive? This is the basic motive of profession, is to save their clients, isn't it? If you take a lawyer also, he should save his clients. If you take doctor also, he has to save and serve his clients, isn't it? So their service has to serve the clients. When they serve the clients, it should be a certain rules and regulations to be followed, isn't it? That is the main motto. Not only making money, their service should be loyal for the clients, okay. So that is what here it speaks about service motive, okay. The interest by rendering their dedicated and committed services. So lawyers, they are dedicated to their services, engineers are dedicated to their services, and doctors are dedicated to their services. Because of their services, they call it as the motto. It is a service motto orientations. Okay, so that is the point here. They have to give the justice, okay, for their clients. Next comes features of professions. Okay, so let us see what are the features of profession says. Over here you have particular points to be discussed here. So here the first one, all over the world there is a marked growth in management as a discipline because systematized body of knowledge. Just now we have seen this word called systematized body of knowledge. Everywhere across the world it is marked that growth in management has taken place. That is the main reason you have today a lot of MBA institutions, lot of management institutions, isn't it? And because of that, because of the reason is they have a systematic body of knowledge, okay, which they are going to implement. And this knowledge is acquired from where? Many number of colleges. As I said you now, Amity, that is a great management institutions, number one and reputed institutions. You can go online MBA these days, isn't it? And it is also authorized by Government of India. So in that case, many professional institutions are there, many journals are there. They study, they give them a lot of knowledge which make them to be a perfect in their professions. Okay, so that is the first and foremost thing which we are discussed now in the feature of profession. By various entrance exam, yes, if you are want to get an MBA course, you have to undergo certain examinations. What is that? GATE and MAT examinations. So that will become an entry level for your professional courses. Okay, so this is the first point which is being told in the feature. What about the second point? The second point speaks there is no restrictions on any one being a designated as a member that he has to be a business in a business enterprises. There is no restrictions means even the BCom graduate or even the MCom graduate, he can also be a manager. He can also be a manager. How it is? See, the reason is because we cannot consider him, he should be a professional person only, he has to become a manager. Not like that. If he has a good service, if he has a good leadership skills, if he has a good knowledge in his and experience, he can also become a manager. Okay, so there is no restrictions on anyone being designated as a manager in any business enterprises. But there is a point. What is that? I will say you. Okay, before that we'll see this. So anyone can become a manager irrespective of education and qualification. Qualification might be BCom, might be MCom, or whatever the B graduate. If he has wanted to become a manager in your organization, he can also become. But if you take medicine, if you take lawyer, it is a purely professional, like that medicine person means he has to undergo with some clinical observations, he has to undergo with certain cases. Okay, case study he should do, certain things he has to do. So this is the exemption. Here nobody cannot become a manager, like without having the non-professional identity. Understood? But the professional knowledge and training, if you consider, where for the person here, first point we were speaking here, if you require a knowledge and training, then you have to undergo with the management examinations. You have to get certified through the diplomas and degrees, through the certain qualification like PG diploma in HR management, or you take PG diploma in marketing management likewise. Okay, so therefore as secondary criteria, it's not been as strictly met. Okay, the secondary criteria is what? This is the secondary criteria. What is secondary criteria? With this particular activity has to take place if it is a knowledge being taken place. Okay, but here in this criteria, if you speak, this particular cannot take place until and unless he gets a knowledge of medicine. That means he should go with the MBBS course, and here he has to go by law, which is LLB and LLM. Okay, so that is a point here we have to observe. Next one is, there are several associations of practicing the managers in India. Okay, like All India Management Associations has laid the code of conduct to regulate the activities for their members. So here there is an management authority or an association which trains the members. Who are the members? Who are the managers who are going to become a members in this particular All India Management Associations. Okay, so they are going to do some workshops, they are going to give some the seminars for the managers to enhance their knowledge and skill, all these things. And there is no compulsory also for every manager has to take part here, and you should go by the statutory backing. What is statutory backing? Required backing knowledge. Okay, it is not necessary that he has to be a part of member here, but if he wants to enhance his knowledge through this, he can join and he can do. But there in the association of professional, there was a restrictions. He has to go through the code of conduct, isn't it? So here it is not likewise. It is not necessary that he should be a member and he should get trained here. It is up to him. And the last point speaks that the basic purpose of management is what? All these things we spoke. What is the main basic purpose of a management? It is to help the organization to achieve the stated goals. So what sort of goals? Goals to be earn a profit. Okay, so that is the main intention, and product should be effective when it is being produced, isn't it? Certain things are to be developed. So if it is been a profit or if it is been a goal achieved, then the maximization of profit also takes place. For example, you take hospital. If you maintain a good management staff, okay, automatically the name frame of the hospital will improve. So the lot many cases will be cleared as early as possible, and it will reduce the amount of investments of any of the clients. So that creates the reputations. This reputation leads to the profit, and that profit will be maximized automatically. Okay, so however, profit maximization has the objective of managing, okay, does not hold. It will be a fast changing process, isn't it? So you cannot expect profit at all the times. It differs in the market. So only thing is they have to concentrate on the good management. If it is a good management, then definitely that management will give a good product to the society, and also with the reasonable services for the society. So you can take the Apollo hospital, you can take Panacea, so you can take many hospitals, the big hospitals if you consider. So they have very good staff members, they give a very good service, though it is very expensive, though it is very costly these days, but still they give a very proper health services which will enhance their profits. Okay, so if the management is good and effective and it is most efficient, then automatically the service or it serves the society by giving a good products, and that becomes it with a reasonable prices also. Okay, if it is a reasonable price, then everyone will buy, isn't it? If it is not a reasonable price, then who will buy? So that is the main reason. The good organizations, in a good organization, good management should be there. That is the most important thing. Second, if it is a good management, they will be more efficient and effective, and automatically it serves the society by giving the good quality of products. So this is the end of the video, students, of this session. Thank you, and if any queries are there, please get back to me.